Hello, this is Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. My co-host, Bill Morton, president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, is still nursing his injury. I am Trudy Leong, administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Our very special guest today is Illinois Representative Jawaharial Williams. Welcome, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Trudy. Thank you very much. Thank you, artists. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Really glad to be here. I appreciate you asking me to come, so I'm here. Yeah.
And your district is the 10th district, so what does that cover?
Oh, man, thank you very much. The 10th district covers East and West Garfield, Wicker Park, River West, Ranch Triangle, a little bit of Lincoln Park as well. I said Lincoln Park, right? A little bit of Lincoln Park as well. It's a very diverse district. It goes from predominantly black to very mixed. I like to say that it goes from the Soul Coast to the Gold Coast. It goes from people struggling to pay $7,000 a year property tax to people paying over $20,000 a year property tax. So it's a very, very diverse district and easily accessible, but very diverse from ethnicity-wise to financial-wise. Money is a huge part of the district as well. It's a very interesting district.
Mm-hmm. Is it how accessible are the residents to talk with you if they have issues? Like, what would you say? Which parts are the most active bringing up issues to you?
Well, emails. Most people email you. You can call the office as well, and we get back to you. Sometimes I'm in the office. I can answer as well. So if you email me, you got a question or concern or something that I can help you with, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's state related. You can email us. You can call the office. We can accessible and get you the answer as best as we can. If we can, if we can't, we point you in the right direction.
And you are concerned with several issues that affect your district and I think affect the rest of Illinois as well. First of all, you're the chair of the Prescription Drug Affordability Committee. So how's the work on that? And prescription drugs oftentimes is like covered by insurance, but once it's not, what is the hardship for your constituents to pay for their prescription drugs?
Well, I chair prescription drugs. The committee is prescription drugs affordability, and I am the chairman of the committee. It's all about fighting to have drugs accessible at a reasonable, affordable rate for patients and for people who need the medicine. Because having medicine is truly a need. So we want to make it where it's affordable, where people are not necessarily cutting their medication in half, taking less dosage simply because they can't afford it once they do finally get it. So we want them to have access to it and at a reasonable rate that's safe and maintained for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So how are you able to do that? Is it are a lot of people having problems now paying, and then are a lot of your constituents actually cutting their doses in half and suffering through that?
Well, you'll see some of that with some of the patients on the lower financial means of the scale who may have to use those tactics to stretch their medicine because it's something they may not be able to afford the next 30 days or 15-day supply of doses just yet because sometimes they are too high. And the challenge with me is that I want to try to do my best to lower the price of some of the older drugs that's been on the market for a long time already or been on the shelves. So basically, they've been there a long time. I know, so we want to try to get those lowered and get those in the hands of the patients that need them from diabetes medicine, diabetic medicine to, some ibuprofens are still costly for 30-day doses, especially when you're talking about the higher 100 milligrams. We're talking about 300, 400, 500 milligrams you may need for somebody who may have had surgery. Some prescriptions are reasonable, and some of them are still costly, but people generally can't afford them. So our goal is to always try to maintain and bring the price of those prescription drugs down so people can afford their medicine. And it's one thing if people choose to cut their doses in half because they feel as though it's not so strongly as needed or they don't need it that much, but as opposed to people just have to cut them in half to stretch them. It's a different understanding, and we want to try to fix that and make it accessible so people could get the medicine that they need.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they stretch it because they think they don't need it, then they're actually not being a compliant patient, and that might hurt them. However,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
However, those that need to stretch the medicine so that they could use it longer, in what circumstances does that happen? Is it that they're falling in between brackets where they get most of the medicines covered, but then they want to work, and then the work affects them, and their income affects them, and then they have to pay higher copays? What's the circumstances?
It could be several different factors. There's no factor is the same. You have some who just generally don't have the money, can't afford it. Some employment issues, and some of them have insurance, but just not necessarily good insurance to cover everything. So some of the insurance plans are right to have, but some of them, you have to dissect the ones that's generally better or best for you. So the challenge is that how do you help them when they need the help? And it's a case-by-case basis for the most part.
And what has your committee done to lower prices? Talk with did you have hearings with the drug manufacturers, the pharma? What have you done?
You know about pharma and big pharma?
Yeah. I wonder
sure.
who's baby pharma, but big pharma, yeah, I know about that.
Well, sure. I like to have all sides of the table when we talk about drugs and things of that nature, because you can't just take one side. And my goal is, like I said, ultimately to lower the price of drugs. Not all of them. I prefer a case-by-case basis. Let's grab 2 or 3 this session and try to get the cost of them down lower. But let's get the manufacturer of the company here, and let's get the middleman here. Let's get some of the insurance company here as well, because it's almost a 3-tier system where everybody has a decision to make on your behalf of how you treat it. Mm-hmm. So you want to bring all sides to the table so you can have conversations and try, honestly, as best as possible to get to a solvable solution where everybody can be beneficial and happy. Because one of my challenges that as the chairman of prescription drugs and affordability is that I'm very aware of the fact of the matter that drugs are not going to be free. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the business, and it is a business. You think about somebody who has a chemical breakdown, who have a powder form, you have a pill form, you have a manufacturing and shipping part. So all that plays a role in getting the drugs to the consumer or getting the drugs to the pharmacist, and so the pharmacist distribute it. So it's not going to be free. That's the first challenge, that the misconception that I have to get people to understand is that they're not going to be free, but we want to work our best, do our due diligence, and try to get them as low as possible that we can.
So that they're affordable. Other parts of the world, they're much more affordable than the United States, right?
Absolutely. Some parts of the world are more affordable, but their system is different than us.
Is there any way that our system could be modeled partially and then progressively after their system?
Hey, I think you have to start at the federal level for that, though. But the state, we do try. We try very hard to help people. I know a lot of people don't necessarily believe it. I think they don't see it, but we try very hard. I think it was the year before last, we lowered the price of EpiPens. For people with who's having all these allergic outbreaks from peanuts or peanut butter, or just cross contamination. We went from to a 1 dose for like $100 to a 2-pack for $35, which is very sufficient, and we made it where they last longer. It used to be like, you last for 1 year, even if you didn't open it, they would say it was no good. And we was like, now wait a minute, now the seal isn't broken, no one used it, so it has to still be good. So those are some of the challenges that we take, and that wasn't easy. That was a tough task, that was a tough bill. But when you get everybody to the table and you have honest conversation, it helps. So
the manufacturer finally admitted that the expiration date could be extended.
Absolutely, it could be extended. Absolutely. Because they're sealable injectables. And if the seal isn't broke, then it should be last longer. It should be safe to use, and they agreed. And that was a challenging bill, but we got it done. I didn't get it done on my own with the work of my colleagues. We got it done, and we passed the bill. Governor signed it in the office, and now it's law.
Well, congratulations on that. That's very important, because there are that affects a lot of people.
Absolutely. I wasn't aware of all the allergic reactions people suffer from now. It wasn't like when I was growing up. Now, I don't even everybody ate peanuts when I was growing up. But now peanuts could be a life or death allergic reaction at times.
I think that At one of the buildings that I was at, they had a little infestation of yellow jackets, and then some people, when they get stung by yellow jackets, there's an allergic reaction too.
Yeah,
so
bees,
I think that
absolutely.
could, that is needed for that too. Yeah. What about generic drugs? Is it they're more affordable, right?
At times they are. You know, are you talking about generic or just name off brand? Some off brands are made by the manufacturer. You know, or they make them for you. Like say, we want to manufacture a drug for you, but we'll call it Trudy's ibuprofen. But it may be still made by the manufacturer who distributes the main corporation distributes. It just allows you to make it label, put your own label on it.
Oh, I see.
It's like when you see something like Prevacid, and then you see a Walgreens Prevacid too. Or they can't call it Prevacid, but they'll call it like an antacid or something. But it's Walgreens brand. But if you look at the ingredients, it's pretty similar to what Prevacid sell.
Right. Yeah, I think food manufacturers do the same thing with they make a lot of the generic brands that supermarkets sell.
Yes.
So those are cheaper though.
Yeah, they can be cheaper. Some of them, it's a case by case basis.
Oh,
some generics that's not name brand could be costlier than the name brand itself.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of deceptive then.
No, not necessarily. You know, it's more about supply and demand as well too. You know, we have more on stock for the name brand. We have more on stock for the generic. We may have ran out of the name brand. Now we could boost the price up a little bit till we get the name brand back in stock.
Oh, so it just supply. So it keeps on changing.
Those are business practices.
So what is most challenging about addressing and how deep is the effect on your constituents? Does it affect a lot of your constituents? The high cost of prescription drugs.
At times it does. You know, we hear more about it from the smaller pharmacy companies, from distribution from the smaller pharmacy companies who are pretty much almost non-existent. You know, because they've been swept up by the bigger chains, and now it's hard for some of them to hold on and receive payment and distribute drugs. Like I think even us, in the 10th district, we have maybe two smaller pharmacies. I think one right over here off of Madison, right between Campbell and Western. It's one right there. Well, no, a little further down. I'm sorry, right between Western and probably California. And then you have another one in Lawndale, and they're black owned, but it's hard. It's almost hard for them to maintain and keep their doors open because the distribution of the drugs is coming so costly, and the rate of return isn't coming back as fast, meaning they're not being paid at the rate they should be getting paid when they do distribute drugs.
So is it intentional that they're getting pushed out then?
You know, it can be considered intentional. You know, big businesses, big farmers. Some of the PBMs own some of the distribution companies or the CVSs. So the CVSs, they're big and they're buying up or pretty much closing down all the smaller companies because it makes it hard for them to maintain and stay in business.
What's a PBM?
No, PBM, Pharmacy Benefit Manager.
Ah, PBM. Okay.
And you know, CVS, some of the bigger chains. You know, and then when some of the smaller, bigger stores like Walgreens close their doors, that makes it hard too. People to have access to go get their drugs. You have to go even further to have access to your drugs.
So we heard of food deserts. Are there any pharmacy deserts in your area?
Absolutely. Yes. I think we only have two small ones on the west side right now. Like I said, as I was just saying earlier, the one on Madison, and there's another one in Lawndale, I think it's right off Pulaski, and I'm gonna say 13th or 14th. I forgot the exact address. But yeah, a lot of pharmacy deserts, and then right on Roosevelt and I think that's Holman. The Walgreens closed right there. So that hurts. That becomes a desert because it makes it where people have to travel further to even get their drugs or even have access to it. Not just prescription drugs, but just over-the-counter drugs as well. Let me see, another Walgreens that closed. Used to be a Walgreens. Several Walgreens have closed. It's another one that closed not too long ago. So when Walgreens closed where we traditionally would go, and it becomes a desert because you have to go further to have access to medication.
And then a lot of the senior citizens, right, and the people with disabilities, then they will have to travel, like use public transit, go further.
Those who can access it by that way. A lot of seniors don't have access even to public transportation. A lot of them, walkers need help and need assistance pretty much everywhere they go. So now they have it's a desert, and they need help getting there.
Wow. So that those people, and plus the drugs might be a little bit too high for their budget as well.
Absolutely, it could be pricier. Even over-the-counter drugs in some cases can be pricey.
You also worked on right to life legislation. What is that all about?
Oh, that wasn't my legislation. That was Leader Gable's. I think that's Gable's. Or I think that was her bill. That was her bill. It gives patients the right to choose their own death or when they want to die if they're gravely ill. I'd say gravely ill. That's what I'll say. I didn't. It was an interesting bill. It's a tough bill because one of the things that I'm worried about is that people getting access to that medicine. People in that medicine getting in the wrong hands, and it's a challenge because I know people say, oh, they won't get access to it. It's secure and it's safe. But right now we have people getting access to tranquilizers. At first you hear about tranquilizers, first thing you think is that only veterinarians have access to tranquilizers. But when tranquilizers getting in
Same kind of tranquilizers,
getting to the hands of the wrong people, which is very dangerous. So when you're talking about the right to left pills or an injection, I'm nervous. I'm concerned from people killing people who the medicine not supposed to be for, killing loved ones or killing ex-loved ones or some things of that nature, or drugging women or even women drugging men, which don't happen that often, but you understand my concern. But that's a huge concern for me, and it's scary because these are some trying times. People are really. I don't be mindful of my words. People can really be angry and evil at times, and so I don't want people. I worry about that getting in the hands of the wrong people.
Sometimes they think before they act, and then there's a lot of consequences to pay for that.
Absolutely, if they get caught, right? And then in the process of getting caught, then you got to go through the criminal court process where they still may beat the case, but meanwhile somebody still has died. So I understand what she wants to do and what she's trying to do, but it's just tough for me because those are my greatest concerns, and sometimes people say the right to life is not to resuscitate, so that's a tough one too. Do you have that in the clause where no resuscitation is involved when people decide that they want to take those pills or take their injection or take their own life, and then it's an argument about if you can deliberately make that decision if you're generally in excruciating pain. So it's a lot. It's a tough bill, and I understand it. But those are one of the things that I enjoy about being in Springfield. 'Cause I like to have clear understandings. I don't like to be debatable or argumentative just for the sake of being argumentative. I like to hear everybody's point. I like to make sure everyone is heard about the concern, about the law, about the issue, because we could generally affect someone's life and possibly somebody could get hurt. And this medicine get in the hands of the wrong people.
So let's just clarify a little bit. So the medicine that they would use to take their own life is the tranquilizers.
I'm not sure exactly which one it is. I forgot what they said it is.
No, that's okay.
It could be a pill. I don't think it's necessarily horse tranquilizer. I was talking about the horse tranquilizer. That was horse tranquilizers. But even that's dangerous too. And people those are getting in the hands of the wrong people. In the furthest part of the southern part of the state, people are getting access to horse tranquilizers. And the first thing you would think is that, man, that's safe. You would think that only veterinarians have access to horse tranquilizer. Then it comes to the conclusion of why would someone want horse tranquilizer that's not a veterinarian?
That's right.
It can hurt people. You can get high off it and things of that nature.
And make a profit.
And possibly make a profit as well.
What about property taxes? You worked on property taxes too.
We haven't addressed it as best we would like to, so we're going to continue to work on it during the regular session. Last session was a veto session, and we was kind of overwhelmed. I personally wish we would have just worked on transit.
Yes.
The last veto session, but I'm not in leadership, so you have to roll with the punches. But we got a lot done. I just wish we would have focused solely on transit so we could do not that we didn't do a bad job, we could just do a better job of getting it right, answering everybody questions and attending to everybody. But overall, it's a good bill. It's going to save the city of Chicago, help us with a lot of things.
what would have been the questions that you would have asked that maybe they didn't ask concerning transit? Like what part of transit was do you think affects us the most that could be better maintained or whatever?
Well, I would like to talk about cuts at the top, on the trends on the board from the pay. I'm a firm believer that when you talk about saving money and revenue, then we got to look at cuts from the top of the administration too. I think we should address that issue. Not saying that, I know people say there's just a small drop in the bucket of the overall problem, but still, we need to address that problem if it's an issue, but we can talk about it. I would like to know more about the board and the appointments of the board, from the fireman appointments to I think it's 3 at the end, or maybe just 5 all across. I'm sorry, I forgot exactly, but I know people in the southern, people who in Champaign had some issues they want to talk about more. And I don't believe they were heard, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, top-heavy administration. I heard that before. I was a student trustee at the Northeastern Illinois University, and instructors came to me saying that if we want more money to be spent on students, we have to cut the administration partially, and that helps a lot. So I'm hearing that again. I guess it's very common in all different kinds of scenarios.
Well, that's just me. I don't. That's just something that's on my mind all the time. I think when you talk about cuts, everybody has to play a role, right? That's just how I look at it. And not to say the leaders who did the transit bill didn't do a good job. They did do a spectacular job. I just like to have everybody heard. I think sometimes when we do things on a fast pace, we don't necessarily have everybody heard.
Right, exactly. What about the graduated income tax?
Oh, I don't know about that one. That's on what class or what earners? For everybody.
Okay, got
across the board. You want to graduate income tax for everybody across the board, or just?
I think that they were thinking about taxing the wealthy more.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. I don't. My thing with that is that taxpayers rejected that. When the mayor first got in office, they ran a referendum vote, and taxpayers rejected it, and taxpayers all across the board rejected it. So the whole tax on billionaires, I'm not sure if it works, and plus it kind of scares me because people who have that kind of money, they could just pack up and leave too, right? So now you don't have no revenue coming in whatsoever, right? They generally could go to Miami. You see what Ken Griffin did, and he took his whole company, Citadel, and moved to Miami. So even though, I don't know who had those jobs, but I'm pretty sure there was a substantial amount of higher earners having those jobs. So we don't want to just keep making them mad, and that's what they choose to do, pack up and leave.
It's very easy for them.
It's very easy for them. And in some instances, you can work remotely now very easily, so you don't get any revenue. So I'm not sure if that generally works or not.
Well, your stepfather is Walter Burnett. So what did you learn from him growing up, and how did that affect your decision to serve in public office?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't think so what I learned from him. Well, I learned to love the Lord and be humble, and try your best to listen more than you talk, and help as best you can when you can. Those are some things I learned, but I navigated it through the process. I used to be the chairman of the Young Democrats of Cook County. I was the president of Young Democrats of Illinois. I was involved in Young Democrats of America. So I went through the process of trying to build a powerful relationship and getting more civically engaged and meeting people, and just trying to have a positive outlook and helping where I can when I can.
If our viewers want to learn more about you, where should they go? And if they want to contact you with questions, how should they do it?
Sure, they can always call the office at 312-265-1019. That's 312-265-1019. We're there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Please give us a call if it's any interest to you, especially if you live in the 10th district, and we could be of assistance to you. And I'm your state representative, that'd be even better. But even if I'm not the state representative, if I can help you, I'll definitely help you as best as I can. And if you have a state issue or want to learn how to do business with the state, please give us a call, 312-265-1019. I'm Jawaharial Williams. I'm the 10th District State Representative. I want to be accessible to you. I want to help you as best as I can. Please reach out and give us a call.
Thank you so much, Representative Williams. This is Trudy Leong, Administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, from Bill Morton. president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Trudy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.